Well, welcome everyone. As John and I promised last time, we were going to do a preview before after Turnbull Stakes Day, Moving Day, and the Spring Carnival, and before some of the key targets in Sydney and Melbourne. So here we are, Caulfield Cup Eve, King Charles Eve, and it's a great day's racing tomorrow. So welcome, John.
Thank you. Thanks, James. Very exciting day tomorrow for everybody.
Fantastic. So I thought we might kick it off by just going back over what's been. And we've had two-year-old runners. The first one, Chicky, which ran 2 weeks ago at Randwick and won the Group 3 Gem Crack Stakes. What did you make of it, John? Obviously a fantastic result.
Yeah, look, I guess it certainly wasn't unexpected. She has just been a star from the time she hit the training tracks. She was winning jump outs as early as May as a yearling. The Gay Adrian's system is just unbelievable in terms of getting these horses to the races quite early in their careers and having them properly educated and, being the right horses. If they need more time, they won't get there. But if they're the right horses, they will get there and they'll be very tough. And that's exactly what Shiki was. She jumped quite well. She led. She was doing it quite comfortably at the top of the straight, accelerated, was challenged, and she dug deep and held on to win narrowly. But most importantly, she wasn't headed post the line. She was very, very strong through the line, indicating that she'll be good over 1,200 metres, and that's where she's now focused on the Magic Millions. So she's had a spell. I think she finishes her spell this weekend and then goes back into work with the preparation all focused on the Magic Millions. And from there, she's pretty much fully qualified for the Golden Slipper. So, potentially she could also contest that later in the season. But I think all eyes are now on the Magic Millions for that filly, and she'll be a very good chance. So that was very, very exciting for everyone involved.
Yeah, just fantastic. Obviously, she won a trial, so it was and she was well in the market, if not favourite. So was not unexpected, as you say. Then on this Wednesday, on the middle day of the Caulfield Carnival, we had another runner, Torture, well named, out of Sort of State, by Ruthless Lady. And she was a little bit out of the market, John. She got the job done. Was it a surprise?
Well, obviously to the punters it was. I guess to the owners, it was. I mean, to win was probably a surprise in the way that she did it. That we did expect her to run very well. She's just a filly that has taken us by total surprise in terms of getting to the races this side of Christmas. We always expected her to run as a 2-year-old. Her sister, Ruthless Dame, had 2 starts as a 2-year-old for 2 wins. She debuted in about February and then won a stakes race in March. She won the Breeders' Stakes. This filly has made it to the races in basically the second race of the Victorian 2-year-old season. Sat really well. She was travelling so sweetly at the top of the straight. She was the only horse that you wanted to be on quite a long way out, and she accelerated and she was extremely strong through the line. The query really for us was 1,000 metres going to be too short for her, but she did that quite easily, winning by more than 3/4 of a length. And once again, post the line, the others didn't run past her. She was very strong past the line, and I guess the Hayes team is now at the decision point: do they give her a very short spell and head to New Zealand for the Karaka Million, or do they give her a bit longer in the paddock and focus on the Blue Diamond? And I think she'll end up heading towards the Blue Diamond. Is sort of where I think they'll decide. That'll be worked out through the weekend, and we'll sort of know the plan early next week. But it was thrilling to get that win. I raced personally Ruthless Dame, the sister, and to have been able to purchase the half sister and then see her successful in a stakes race at her first start was just really a thrill. And I think for those that sort of follow our mail, $21 was a pretty nice collect for those that certainly follow our horses. So I think she's established herself as she'll be one of the best 2-year-old fillies in the state, and I think the sky's the limit because that she's only just going to get better as she gets more racing brain and races a bit more tractably. She was a little bit green around the turn, but she's obviously got an enormous amount of talent, and it's going to take her a long way. So it's very, very exciting. Both those fillies to have two starters this early in the season to both win stakes races is just unbelievable. And what it does is means that they're both very, very valuable as well from a future sale point of view. And they irrespective of what they do now, they've earned that value, and they're real charms in the $1 million six syndicate. So we've got two more runners in that syndicate to come. Royal Witten is the next 2-year-old colt. He's just gone into work, and I think he'll be given every opportunity to make the Magic Millions. If not that, then the Sydney Autumn 2-year-old races. And the other horse of the 2-year-olds is a filly with the Annabelle and Rob Archibald stable, who's yet named, and she's by Hello Youmzane. And she was always purchased as a 3-year-old prospect, better suited to around about the mile distance, 1,600 metres. She's had a jump out the other day, and it was more of just to stretch the legs and, learning about how to do things. And she'll probably have another jump out in a couple of weeks to finish her education and go out for a spell. And then with a view that she might have a racing preparation, after the 2-year-old autumn, make races and get ready for a 3-year-old season where we'd expect to see her to come to the fore. So I think the ACJC MD6 syndicate's in a really good space with their 2-year-olds. They've got 2 stakes-winning fillies, a very promising colt, and a 3-year-old filly type. So I think they're in a great position. The ACJC Melbourne-based RIG has got a fantastic colt called Truant.
Yeah.
He went Shinsaw the other day and's gone out for a spell, and that's not to be unexpected. Many 2-year-olds go Shinsaw. It's just a sign that they're growing. His work up to that point had been absolutely top of the pack, to the point where I think the stable was rating this 2-year-old certainly in the top echelon of their 2-year-old ranks. So I think there's a lot of upside for this colt. He'll be given a month in the paddock to allow his shins to recover and allow him to grow a bit and enjoy the spring grass and sunshine. And then he'll come back into work with a view to the racing through the 2-year-old Blue Diamond Series in the autumn, or the summer autumn, that is. So he's definitely on a pathway to race in stakes races, and based on what he's shown on the training tracks, he'll be very, very competitive. So there's a lot of good times ahead, I think, for the ACJC with their 2-year-olds this season.
Yeah, fantastic, John. So if we look ahead to this week, obviously it's a big day tomorrow. Maybe we start in Sydney. Royal Patronage comes back in the King Charles III Stakes. How do you see it? I understand there was sort of a slight setback after the first start. Is he rearing to go tomorrow?
Yeah, look, I think his whole program's been devised around this race as his grand final. Um, he did have to miss the Epsom simply because he needed a bit of treatment, and the medication that he needed to be fully cleared of his system, so they just couldn't race him in the Epsom, even though he was fully fit and well and
Mm.
working really well at the time. He really is very, very fit now. He's been kept as a consequence on the fresh side. He hasn't had a run in a month. How he races best.
Mm.
He's not place over the Randwick Mile. He's raced in an Epsom, a Doncaster, and a Channel 7 Stakes, which is $1 million weight for age race. So he's running elite races over the Randwick 1,600 metres and yet to miss a place. He will sit probably second, maybe third behind Pride of Jenny, who'll set the pace. Probably Mr. Brightside will sit behind him. And I can see the field getting quite strung out. And potentially to the disadvantage of Fangirl, who'll be, I would expect her to be close to last. And it's really then going to come down to what happens in the home straight when Pride of Jenny, extends, Royal Patronage goes after her, and Mr. Brightside comes after the pair of them, and
Mm.
possibly Fangirl will be coming down the outside. And the question is, will she have too much to do? So it's going to be a thrilling race. I don't think there's going to be very much in the finish,
Mm.
and I think that those four horses will be right in the finish. That's not discounting horses like Tom Kitten, Seawolf, and even the filly Within the Law have got some chances as well. But I think those four will be fighting it
Mm.
out. Where do they finish? I'm not sure. I know the answer. I'd like to hope that Royal Patronage can get his nose in front like he did in the Canterbury Stakes. I'm sure Tim will give him a peach of a ride. And, I think that the faster it is and the harder, the firmer the track, probably the better it is for Royal Patronage. So I think he really likes the fast, firm ground and a really fast run race. And if you think back to the Tramway Handicap, which was his first ever run in Australia, they
Yeah.
ran second fastest time ever at Randwick over 1,400, which also happens to be the Australian record for 1,400. And he lapped up that super fast pace and won quite convincingly. I think he's a fantastic each way chance at really good odds. So certainly think that he'll give his all. And
Mm.
I, if he won, I certainly wouldn't be shocked. I think the market might be again, but I think he goes to the race a very, very fit horse, ready to run his absolute best race.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think he's certainly presents very good value when you consider he was $14 in a Doncaster back in April. So I think the what are we looking at, $26 potentially now is as you say, very good each way value, John.
Mm.
The Then we go to Caulfield, the Caulfield Cup, a time-honoured race, and we have the top weight. Vauban, we have. I heard him described on radio this morning as the best jockey at Caulfield. Blake Shin aboard. Slightly, I guess, a slightly sticky gate in 13, John. But it does feel like Vauban, who was, unlucky or, had a lot of running left in the Metropolitan last start, has been set for this at Caulfield, and he appears a very good chance. How do you see it?
Look, I agree. I've got the privilege of having two runners in the Caulfield Cup, both two of the top three chances. I've got an interest in Royal Supremacy, and some other members of my syndicate are in the ACJC as well, but we've bought that outside the ACJC. So we've got Royal Supremacy and Vauban, and I do think that this is a race that I can see Vauban winning. I don't think 13 is a problem at all. I think it's actually works to his benefit. I think that means he's going to be wider. Blake will find a spot, even if it's 3 wide, but with cover. I don't think that's an issue at all for him. I'd rather him being wide and out of trouble than on the fence and in trouble. I think it gives Blake, he can just sum up when he needs to make his move. And I think the horse is just ready to explode. He was ready to explode in the Metropolitan, and unfortunately he was squeezed in by Jujo Kiba, and he had no room in front of him with Royal Supremacy, and he just jogged the whole way up the home straight. I think he probably should have won the Metropolitan. He was just really unlucky. I think the wider barrier gives him the chance to sit a little wider, but with cover. 4 pairs back, 3 pairs back, and I think he'll get his chance to win. The weight's not an issue. I've looked at the records. There's been 9 winners of the Caulfield Cup with a similar weight since 2000. So 9 of the last 24 have carried a similar weight. All around the top weight, 57, 58 sort of weights, and remembering that those weights would have been a kilo more under today's scale. So the weights were raised 1 kilo this year. So the minimum went from 50 to 51 kilos, and the minimum top weight rose a kilo as well. So I think looking at history, it tells me that it can be done. It doesn't, other than the guide, that's all it is. So I don't think the weight will be an issue. He carried the weight really well in the Metrop, and meets Royal Supremacy, Birdman better for a narrow loss. I think he's got, quite frankly, as good a jockey as there is riding at the moment in Australia. I think Blake's absolutely on fire, and I know he'll give his all to win the Caulfield Cup, which I don't believe that he's previously won. So I think we hopefully get that change of luck for the horse this preparation. And I know that this has been his grand final all along. He'll obviously go on to the Melbourne Cup, but I don't think you'll find him be any fitter when he gets to Melbourne Cup. I think tomorrow he is absolutely fully fit, ready to go, as long as he keeps his cool, as he doesn't play up, which it doesn't seem to have happened this preparation. I think Gay and Adrian have done an amazing job to get this horse's head right, and he keeps calm, goes into the barriers without issue. We're up to our eyeballs in this. So, no, the favourite's very, very hard to beat. He's got some great form, and he will get an economical run. He might need a bit of luck in the straight, and I don't think Vauban will. I don't think it'll be a luck issue for Vauban this week. So, anyway, if the favourite comes out and blitzes them, well, congratulations. He'll have been beaten by just a better horse, but I'm not sure that there is a better horse in the race than Vauban. So I think he's deserved to win a Group 1, and I think he gets his best chance to win a Group 1 tomorrow.
Absolutely, John. Okay, well, it's a great day's racing. Is there any other horse, bit of a question without notice here, John, but is there any other horse around the country or race around the country tomorrow that you're looking forward to?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the Everest is an intriguing race. You've got the best sprinters in Australia assembled, and they're taking on the world champion in Rising. Kaying Rising, I've had the privilege to see him run twice in Hong Kong in the international sprint, and then in the forget the name of the race in April, the champion sprint, and he was electric the second time. He was workmanlike, but excellent the first time. He runs slick time off fast paces, and at his best, he has the ability to just win by 6 lengths. The question mark, I guess, is off his trial, and looking at him, is he absolutely in that absolute form, or is he slightly off? even slightly off, he might still be too good. If he is slightly off, I would no doubt that all of the major Australian horses will be there to absolutely pounce. And there's any number of, there's only 12 in the race, but I could give to at least another 6. I think Jimmy Star, the issue with him is he going to be too far back? But he's got an electric turn of foot. If he's sort of within 5 lengths of them at the top of the straight, I think that he could almost run them down. Brias is probably going to be that bit closer, and it's pretty bomb-proof, and so therefore he looks like he could be the main danger. But then again, you've got father versus son. You've got David Hayes against his sons, who have got War Machine. War Machine, I don't believe, has lost ever since he's been transferred to the Hazes. His first up win with 60 kilos was absolutely brilliant. And, if he won, I would be hardly surprised. I think he's an exceptionally talented sprinting horse. And I haven't even made mention of Chris Waller's 3 runners, all of whom have enormous chances. Lady Shenandoah, Jolie Star, and Angel Capital. And then the X factor is the 3-year-old filly Tempted, who potentially the 1400 was a little bit beyond her comfort zone in the Golden Rose. She still acquitted herself very well in 3rd in track record time, of course. The start before over 1200 metres, she obliterated all of the best colts in the country. And I could easily see her, being in the finish as well. The 3-year-olds, across the board, have performed exceptionally well over the years when they've run in the Everest, and this filly absolutely deserves to be there. And she's an elite sprinter, and she'll win a Group 1 sprint, open sprint, probably this season. It's just a matter of which one. So all of those horses are there to take on Ka Ying Rising. And that's discounting horses like Overpass, who's won the Quokka a couple of times and is Group 1 winner of the Winterbottom. Marzu is won the Doomben 10,000, discounting those horses' chances. But, it's going to be a super race. So it'll be most intriguing. They've all earned their spots in the race, and there's probably only 2 that I couldn't think could get close to winning this. But the rest of them, it probably wouldn't surprise me who wins.
Oh, well, fantastic, John. Great day's racing tomorrow. You'll be on track at Caulfield tomorrow, I take it?
Most definitely, and nervous at that. So it's a big day. I've never had a runner in the Caulfield Cup, and to have 2 is going to be pretty special.
Okay. Oh, thanks so much, John. I think perhaps we'll do another update pre-Melbourne Cup, and we've got a few functions planned for that week. A great Melbourne Cup Eve dinner, I understand. So hopefully we'll see the ACJC community together at that point.
Hopefully with a nice trophy to put in on one of the tables.
That's true. Okay, thanks, John. Thanks, everyone.
Okay, bye-bye.